Talking about nostalgia, living in the past, and why it is useful, why it's not useful. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is there such thing as too much nostalgia? Is there like a Goldilocks zone? Sakto ra gyud imo ang paghandom sa kagahapon nimo nga dili makaepekto sa imong mga karon. Unsa may gamit ang atong kagahapon, right? How do we take advantage of it? By the way, I was thinking about what you said earlier, Justin, about kaning naay mga butang nga nabuhat nimo nga dili maayo niadtong una. Posible sad nga kanang butanga dili nangilad karon. Naapoy mga butang
Okay.
nga kanang mausab na ba? Dili na siya ingon ana karon. You know what I mean?
Okay, there were things, what do you mean? So there are things na past nga, akong gibuhat nga, it was not so good.
Yeah, for example.
Nya karon, it's okay na.
It's okay na, for example.
Let me think of one.
But see, the thing is, depende po sa imong edad. Okay, for example, mubo kayo nga skirt, for example, shorts nga grabe kayo huot or kapakigol,
okay, like
diba?
fashion.
For
Okay.
example.
That's a great example.
Atong una kaning sa ako ang panahon, maybe like in the 90s, in the 2000s siguro, maybe even in the 80s, murag wala kay na nauso. So ngilad na ang kanang magpakigol atong una, di ba? Pero karon
with the fashion now,
people are just normally just wearing it, right?
Yeah, I feel like
So,
people are more empowered now to
yeah.
experiment on clothes.
So
that
mo na siyang example of butang nga ngilad ni atong una karon okay na.
yeah, okay.
You know, so that's an example of that, right?
Okay.
So naay mga butang nga sayop atong una nga dili na ngilad karon because the way we perceive things and the way the things have evolved and changed, right?
Yeah,
Right?
And I would say one thing I thought about aside from fashion was how like people would express themselves before. I feel like, you know, with the kanang for those who are in the LGBT community, for
Yeah,
example,
yeah.
it would be such a big taboo
Yeah.
for you to like, you know, openly express that you have a different sexual orientation. Pero karon medyo mas na-accepted na.
Yeah.
The same way in aesthetic, you know, aside from your fashion, kanang mga tattoos and piercing, there was a
Yeah.
time before when people who are applying for mga corporate jobs cannot show their tattoos, no?
yeah, correct,
Pero
yeah.
times have changed. Now, you don't have to cover them up as much.
As
you know?
much, yeah.
Even sa academe, there was a time when teachers really had to cover their mga tattoos. And now, that's not necessarily a requirement na for work. It's discrimination na, or something like
I
that.
even see doctors with tattoos now, di ba?
Kana, yeah.
Diba?
Pero there was a time before na medyo taboo, di ba?
Yeah, yeah.
Nga murag, in the past, if we look back, if we what's the word? I have like a certain nostalgia about how it was in the past. Kaya it was not acceptable.
Yeah.
Pero now, okay naman.
Yeah,
Acceptable na
yeah,
siya. Medyo
yeah.
acceptable.
In some quarters. Yes, you were about to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yes, I would also like to add that my dad, you know, he has an earring. He has an earring in a right ear. Yes.
Okay.
So when he first got that, when he was still a teenager, he got yelled at by my grandparents really badly. Like how can you?
Why did you do that?
Why did you do that? You're destroying your future.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Yeah.
So now,
But now,
But now he's doing good.
okay.
So times are. So times are in fact.